To the I Love CVille Show. Thank you kindly for joining us. A pleasure to connect with you guys on a Thursday afternoon. We're live in downtown Charlottesville, and today we're presented by the Clifton in Keswick, a memorable dining experience at the Clifton in Keswick. They have happy hour. They have a perfect setup for date night, for family dinners, and an opportunity to remember the holidays in special fashion. The Clifton in Keswick. Also, please consider the Clifton for weddings, special events, and corporate retreats. Today's show has taken a complete 180. I had yesterday evening planned to do something completely different. Then my phone started buzzing left and right. And there was a common denominator with the messages I was receiving on my phone. These messages were from teachers at Albemarle High School. And the teachers at the high school had one theme with the messages that they were sending me. And that theme was fear. A theme of fear from our teachers at Albemarle High School. They're afraid for their safety. Yesterday there was a massive brawl at Albemarle High School in the hallways. And I'll read what one teacher sent me this morning, verbatim to you. If you watch this program, you know I'm a man of integrity, and I never reveal the sources that connect with us who ask for anonymity. It could be parents, it could be administrators, it could be teachers, it could be financiers, it could be public officials. If they say, Jerry, do not use my name, I wish to remain anonymous, I respect that. And my word is my bond. And this particular teacher has asked for anonymity, but he has asked this network to use our platform and our voice to attract attention to what is a growing major problem in the largest school in Central Virginia. So we are going to do that because that is the responsibility that comes with a platform of this size. This particular teacher said this to me this morning. One of 11 teachers to reach out to me in the last 19 hours. Jerry, Albemarle High School is melting down. This teacher wrote to me. Yesterday, there was another massive brawl. 5 kids stomped in English as a second language student. Kids have been in altercations this year and should not be in our building to begin with. There is expected to be a heightened police presence at Albemarle High School today. We are all afraid this could spark a race riot between black students and Latino students at Albemarle High School. I am concerned. I responded to this message like this. I typed through Facebook Messenger, I'm sorry to hear this. That is awful. How can I help? Here's what the teacher responded. Your voice helps. Your platform is far-reaching. I am sickened by the fact that the school board decided to remove police officers from our schools. Albemarle High School in particular is massive in population and repeat with offenders. Teachers are being asked to be on patrol doing the job of the police. Student behavior has declined and has worsened. Here's a message from yet another teacher within Albemarle High School. Jerry, when I go to work, I worry if today is the day I will get hurt or worse while teaching students. I'm routinely in the classroom with students who have threatened my life or threatened my family's lives. I'm constantly on edge while teaching my students and concerned how they will react, whether through verbal violence or physical violence. Please highlight these elements on the show. We routinely send the repeat offenders to the principal's office and ask for help. And these students routinely come back to the classroom after a mere 10 or 15 minutes of time away from us. Here's another message I have received from a teacher at Albemarle High School. Jerry, please bring this up on the I Love CVille show. We watch and listen to your program. Currently, the state of affairs in our hallways and classrooms is so desperate that teachers are being asked to serve as police to prevent brawls, fights, or worse from happening. I am a female. I am 5'4" tall and maybe 120 pounds. Okay, maybe 125, she jokes. My presence will not keep anyone from doing anything physical in my classroom, in the hallway, or in the cafeteria. I am not going to risk my physical safety to prevent a fight or something worse from happening. I am going to get out of the way of it. I have children and a husband. We have the video which we will show. This video was sent to us by teachers in the school. I have been told that Rob Schilling, who does a fantastic job with investigative reporting, is also covering this. Rob, I want to give you props. Rob Schilling, of 1070 WINA, and the Schilling Show, for also attracting attention to this. Thank you, Rob, for utilizing your platform as well. Enough already, Dr. Matthew Haas. Enough already, Albemarle County School Board. Your decision to remove school resource officers from the hallways has utterly backfired. You've chosen politics and wokeism instead of the safety of our students. When a superintendent's office and the superintendent's cabinet and the elected school board decides to politicize students and choose wokeism instead of the safety of our students, it is up to us as voters, taxpayers, and constituents, heck, as parents, to say enough already. This has been a 2-year period of time since the start of COVID that has been an indictment, a damning period of time for Albemarle County Public Schools. Student enrollment is dropping. Violence is upticking. Sex and sexual activity are constantly being reported and found on school grounds. Hazing is prevalent. Teacher numbers are dropping. Teachers are sprinting away from the school system. And it worsens on a day-to-day basis. You have the video, Judah. This video has been sent to us by a couple of teachers. It is my understanding that Rob Schilling also has this video and has been in contact with teachers as well. I want to give props and kudos to Rob Schilling about this. Judah, let's play this video that's been sent to us, please. In 3, and please, Judah, look at it as well. Parents, get ready. This is Albemarle High School. This is not inner city Los Angeles, inner city Baltimore, or inner city Manhattan. This is a county in Virginia that spends over $18,000 per pupil to educate students in an affluent, Tony, wealthy county. Play the video in 3. Play the video in 2. Play the video in 1. Play it now. Let's show it again. And this is just a snapshot. Play the video again. This is a regular occurrence. This is a regular occurrence. Fights, violence, sex, hazing. A regular occurrence. The principal of the school continues to downplay fights, violence, sex, and hazing. The superintendent's office continues to downplay fights, violence, sex, and hazing. The Albemarle County School Board continues to downplay fights, violence, sex, and hazing. When do we as a community say enough already? You have 4 spots up for election on the Albemarle County School Board in 2023. You have 3 spots up for election in the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors in 2023. The county has an opportunity to reimagine leadership. Reimagine the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors with half the board up for re-election. Reimagine the school board with 4 of 7 spots up for re-election. If this is not a microcosm of Albemarle County Public Schools, I don't know what is. The Western Albemarle High School and Henley Middle School feeder track is dropping in enrollment. For decades, families sprinted to Crozet for Henley and Western. And now Henley and Western are dropping in student enrollment. Private schools are upticking in student enrollment. Waiting lists are lengthy for private school learning. Remember, funding from the Commonwealth for public schools is associated with student enrollment. As enrollment drops in our public schools, the funding from the Commonwealth drops. And the snowball effect worsens. And what is something that you can hold in your hand and throw at someone else very quickly becomes an avalanche, a problem that cannot be solved or managed efficiently. Who do we hold accountable, and what are the solutions? How do we prevent this from happening, and where do we go from here? What are the short-term problems, and then the long-term issues we have to remedy? I have solutions for you. The first person we hold accountable is the superintendent. The highest paid employee, the number one position of power of the entire school system. This man can no longer say that these are carry-over problems from a previous regime. He's been on the job long enough that that excuse does not fly. SOL scores are decreasing in performance, especially with students of color. Violence is a regular occurrence, and decision-making that prioritizes school rebranding ahead of getting kids to school on time in buses and home on time on buses is damning to the learning experience. Prioritizing elements of curriculum ahead of maintaining safety in schools is damning to learning. All those elements have transpired in the last handful of years. I've said on this program once, and I'll say it again. The number one job for a school system is to get a student to school on time. The second job of a school system is to maintain the safety of that student while on school grounds. The third job of the school system is to get the student home on time. And then the fourth job of the school system is to maintain an equitable learning environment for students. I can make a legitimate argument that those four elements, those four factors, that list of four key performance indicators are not being met today. Now, many people say we shouldn't hold the school board accountable. They are not in the schools on a daily basis. They sit on a dais in a handful of meetings a month, and they manage the macro elements of a school system. They are looking from an aerial view and not from within the trenches. I call absolute BS on that statement. And you know, maybe it's our own fault, Albemarle County. Maybe it's your fault, viewer and listener. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's Judah's fault. Maybe it's your fault. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at me. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's his fault. Because we've allowed elections to go uncontested. We've allowed one party that's becoming a caricature of its former self, much like the Republicans are as well, the Democrats certainly are as well, to dominate and monopolize Albemarle County for decades. You look at the school board and you see out of touch. You see politicians. You see people not focused on reality and common sense. If you want solutions, you get the school resource officers in the school immediately. If you want solutions, you take financial resources in limited dollars and you allocate them to teachers and bus drivers and support staff immediately. If you want solutions, you figure out how to keep teachers from quitting by incentivizing them to stay in the hallways. And how you incentivize a teacher to stay in a hallway is to pay the teacher more, pay the support staff more, pay the bus driver more. Make sure they feel safe in the hallways. If you want solutions, you figure out a way to get kids to school on time and home on time. You want solutions? You take repeat violent offenders, repeat hazing offenders, repeat sexual offenders, and you expel them from school. You want solutions? You hold people accountable. You stop giving BS grades to students who didn't earn them. You take away the everyone gets a trophy mentality. You start failing kids. You get rid of grading equity. God, what BS grading equity. The whole concept of grading is determining winners and losers. Grading equity is an oxymoron. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Grading equity. Those are solutions. And the first solution starts with compensating teachers at a greater clip and frequency to make sure they're not leaving the schools like they're currently doing. Right now, Albemarle County Public School leadership, superintendent, his cabinet, the school board, is more romanticized with wokeism than actual common sense and reality. And the ones who are suffering is the next generation, our students. And if you cannot see there is a massive educational gap that's transpiring in our schools between those that are going to public school and those that are going to private school, then you're not in touch with reality. Because these difficulties, these challenges, these obstacles, these trials are not happening in private hallways or in homeschool settings. Show the video again. Let me know when it's on screen. It's on screen. Yesterday in Albemarle County, and it's #1 high school from a population standpoint, Albemarle High School. Show it to them again. Look at the screen. Look at the screen. I had no plan of covering this until teachers are reaching out and pinging my phone left and right. Just like I had no plans of covering the Hunter Smith shenanigans and shadiness until employees are reaching out to me left and right. This network champions the underdog. And parents, if you feel comfortable with what you just saw in that video, I've had so many parents tell me that their kids are scared to go into bathrooms, that they just hold it all day or try to go to the bathroom at home or avoid bathrooms altogether. Think about that. You want to go to a two-shot? What do you make of that?
I think it's a tragedy. I mean, it's a shame that kids can't just go to school and be kids and learn, and that, you know, obviously they're threatened by. I mean, I wouldn't want to walk out into the hall if the expectation was there might be kids putting a beat down on a foreign student. Is that what it is?
This is how it was described to me by a teacher. Jerry, Albemarle High School is melting down. Another massive brawl yesterday. 5 kids. This teacher called it curb stomped. In English as a second language student. Kids that have been in altercations this year should not be in our beginning to begin with.
Yeah.
A heightened police presence expected today. This could spark a race riot between Black and Latino students. Signed, concerned teacher.
I mean, there's video. Why not just expel the students?
Right?
Problem solved.
When we were growing up, when we were in school, that's what would happen.
I mean, I don't remember anything like that ever happening when I was in school. Kids might have gotten into fights, but nothing like that. And
that's assault.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's 5-on-1, 6-on-1. And here's something that I find odd. In today's culture, in today's society, the first reaction that bystanders have to criminal activity or violence
To videotape it.
is to pull out the phone and live stream it to social media.
Yeah.
When you and I don't want to speak for you, but I know you're a man of character. When I was coming up, it was, now granted the phone was not prevalent and ubiquitous like it is now. And social media wasn't available, wasn't present. But we got involved and stopped things. These massive, and you know what? I'm going to save the accessory dwelling unit conversation till tomorrow. And we'll save the topic about Austin, the comparison to Charlottesville and Austin till tomorrow. And the fantastic article that Bob Yarborough sent me that is foreshadowing of what could be Charlottesville. Bob Yarborough called it a cautionary tale for CVille. It's an article from TexasMonthly.com describing Austin, Texas. When we were kids, even today, Judah, if I saw that today, it wouldn't even enter my mind to bust out my phone and start live streaming. If I saw that today, even if I was an innocent bystander and this would piss my wife off, I would be in there trying to break it up. I was at a local watering hole watching a sporting event with my wife and my son a handful of months ago. And the table next to me, one of the patrons had a pretty significant seizure. I immediately went to the table, checked the person having the seizure, got down on one knee, realized the person's eyes were rolled back, having massive convulsions on the ground, stuff all over coming out of their mouths. Immediately tried to help, check airwaves, and called 911. And when I looked up after doing that, there was one other bystander who happened to be a nurse that was helping. Everybody else was surrounding us live streaming it.
Yeah.
The smash and grabs at these retail stores where 4 or 5 youth go in to like an Apple store and try to rip them off of iPads and iPhones, no one does anything to stop it.
Yeah.
They live stream it though. Mm-hmm. Another indictment of our culture and society today. What are the solutions?
There's no solution to that.
Expulsion is a solution.
Yeah, for that, I'm talking about, I thought you were talking about bystanderism.
For the school system, for the brawl.
Yeah. If you've got 5 kids teaming up on a foreign student,
on any student,
get rid of them. If it was 2 kids fighting in the hall, you'd have to take it on the individual merits. But if you've got kids teaming up against someone, do you really expect that you're going to teach them not to do that at whatever age they're at? This is high school, right? They should know better. Especially
as the teachers are indicating it's repeat offenders.
Yeah.
I don't have much empathy.
I have zero empathy for kids. I know curb stomping is probably
might be a
colloquialism and not what we tend to think of it as. But still, if you've got 5 or more kids teaming up on one other kid, that's I don't think you got to do that twice to not be invited back into the classroom, much less the school.
To be expelled.
Yeah.
The curb stomping was put into the American vocabulary and vernacular by the movie American History X when Edward Norton did it.
I've never seen it.
Seen it.
No desire to.
I've seen it. It was graphic and violent.
Sure.
Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Jack Jewett. Jerry, my heart breaks for the terrified teachers and students who live in the unsafe learning environments created and perpetuated by Matthew Haas and the Albemarle County School Board. My heart breaks, and that breaking heart is only exceeded by my outrage. Superintendent Haas should either resign or be fired before the sun sets today. Every member of the school board should render their resignations by the end of the week. You said it, Jerry. The ill-advised wokeism is over. Get the school resource officers back in the school, fix the standards of education and grading, solve the transportation problems, and put responsible people in charge. That's the Queen of Jack Jewett. This is Travis Hackworth, the King of Danville, Virginia, watching in Danville. Jerry Miller, it does not matter how posh and chic your town is and how nice the amenities are. when your public schools are symbolically and figuratively burning to the ground. To quote the saying, the inmates are running the asylum. Albert Graves, the school board should be held accountable and maybe sued, especially since it already happened in another school system in Virginia.
If it was my kid at the bottom of that dog pile, I'd be suing.
If it was my kid at the bottom of that dog pile, I would be doing more than suing. And if it was our kid at the bottom of the dog pile, it would not be me you would have to worry about. It would be my wife. Mm-hmm. My wife is even-keeled and easygoing, but if you get Mama Bear riled up when it comes to her kids, you will see the devil's rage.
Yeah.
I've seen it. You will see the devil's rage when it comes to anyone doing anything even remotely concerning or negative or violent or anything when it comes to our kids.
Yeah.
Warrior AG in Crozet says, not to remove the repeat offenders is blood on the hands of this school board, and every one of them should be sent packing before they pack them. Go guard the halls of Albemarle High School first and then make them walk home.
Yeah.
Florence Worley Villa, thank you for sharing this. Scott Aaronworth, King of Virginia Beach. When a student gets injured in school, then comes back to school with a gun, what is the school board going to do about that? Michael Plecker, one of the finest catchers the Shenandoah Valley has ever produced. Accountability ladder, student, parent, principal, superintendent. I'm not buying, Michael Plecker, that these issues are issues 100% from home. I think parents of these students, the repeat offenders, undoubtedly should also be held accountable, but we have to have learning environments that create and foster safety. And if you can consistently offend, and this is a crime. What we saw was a crime, right?
I mean, it wasn't very clear to me, but what I saw, I mean, that's not the kind of thing that you let happen twice.
And that's my point. That's well said, succinctly said. If they're repeat offenders and they're constantly doing this and nothing is happening to them and they're staying in the school, why would they not continue doing it?
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Lisa Costello. If I bring my boyfriend to watch my son and my boyfriend harms my son, I can be held liable if I should have known my son would not be safe around my boyfriend. Likewise, if I know public school systems locally are damaging children physically, mentally, psychologically, but I send my kid there anyway, why can I not be charged? Kevin Higgins, King of Greenwood. I agree. Expel students that instigated this, but the problem is not solved. This will continue until leadership issues are addressed, students respect rules and boundaries, and until this school returns to a place of learning. If there are leadership should change now, he says. Jerry, it all starts at the juvenile, Steve Oikenmines. It all starts at the juvenile detention center where we have the biggest problem. There are solutions. I'm willing to talk to you about this off air. Yeah, Michael Plecker, there's not a doubt in my mind that if I had stepped out of line in any capacity when I was a kid, that my dad would have whooped my ass. And I'm not professing violence by any capacity. And I know times have changed. But how I was raised by my grandfather, Papi Esteban Gomez, and by my father, when I stepped out of line, I got the belt. And when I really stepped out of line, I got the belt with the buckle. And I'm by no means saying that's what should be done now. And I completely understand that times have completely changed. But that's how a lot of people were raised. This is a mess, dude. And it's been a consistent theme for most of COVID.
It's been a consistent theme with the area schools.
Yeah. And it's worsening because morale is worsening. Teachers are quitting.
Yeah. My friend left at the end of last year.
Right. And your friend, in a nutshell, said to you what?
I mean, he said it's a mess. He said kids don't care. He said there's no, there's really no way to do anything about poor behavior. Just like the teacher said in their letter to you, you send a student to the office, to the principal, and they come back 10 minutes later.
Right.
Having been...
That's what all these teachers are saying.
Like told, I don't know what they're told. Don't do it again, go back to your class.
Yeah.
That works, as we all know.
Right. All the teachers are saying this. We send the students to the principal's office.
And they just get sent back.
And they get sent back 10 or 15 minutes later. We'll continue to talk solutions on this program. I respect the teachers that have reached out to me. Teachers, continue to reach out to me, please. Your anonymity is safe with me. I will not breach our trust or put you in a position of vulnerability with your employer. I've proven that over a significant period of time in this community. I've worked in media in some kind of capacity for over 2 decades in this community. Print, radio, television, and now the owner of my own network. And you don't maintain 2+ decades of working in the field unless your word is your bond. Keep reaching out to me, teachers at Albemarle County Public Schools. Bus drivers, support staff, I will continue to help and utilize this platform to shine a light on what is undoubtedly, how do you characterize it? Travesties?
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine going to being a student and having to go to school and regularly see that or experience that if you're on the beating end of it. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to school.
Yeah. How could you go back?
I'd be terrified to go to school. It hurts me that kids would be terrified to go to school in Charlottesville.
In Charlottesville. And we said this about the student in the locker room in the hazing incident. Remember?
Yeah.
In Charlottesville.
Yeah.
This is not Baltimore.
Right.
This is not the Myrtle. This isn't inner city Manhattan.
It's not Detroit. It's not Chicago.
Yeah. This is in Charlottesville. $18,000 per pupil, $18,000 plus per pupil is being spent to educate kids. $18,000 plus per year. You can look these numbers up online. It's on the county website. $18,000 plus per year is being spent to educate these kids. That's a freaking college tuition.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's the Thursday edition of the I Love CVille Show. He's Judah Wickower. His opinion is valued. My name is Jerry Miller. We will continue to utilize this platform to champion the underdog and fight for things that need to be changed. You have 4 spots on the Albemarle County School Board that are coming up for re-election. You have 3 spots on the Albemarle County School Board that are coming up for re-election. And those spots come up for re-election in less than 12 months. November of 2023. It's time to pony up, rally the troops, and get to the box and start voting. Thank you for joining us.